All right, the Dan Hooker fight off at the last minute. A lot of dudes who had their hands up saying, pick me, I'm ready to scrap. They gave it to Fiziev again. Even Fiziev said, hey, Gaethje, he didn't have to, but he gave me another opportunity. I didn't even deserve it. This is another lose-lose for Justin Gaethje. And AJ, this is one of the few times that I've legitimately seen Gaethje be completely written off. Like, people are like, this dude's done. He's 36 years old, coming off of that nasty knockout. But on the other hand, they're kind of making it seem like Max Holloway, even though he was winning the majority of the fight, like he was just like dropping bombs on him the entire fight. You went toe-to-toe, you came up on the wrong side, and you got stiffed. It's not like it hasn't happened to him before. Is this a regular Justin Gaethje, or is this a Tony Ferguson-esque type fight right here? What do you make of it?
Ooh, I'm not willing to go that far, Derek. Not willing to go that far at all. And in fact, if Justin Gaethje's ego didn't get involved when he saw another dog pointing on the ground at the end of that fight, he would have more than likely not ended up sleeping. I mean, yeah, he's down to trade. He's a wild man. That's why we love him. But I do not think his mental capacity is diminished enough to be able to say, like, hey, it might be time to hang it up. I mean, he after all, is what the other fighter called the Homer Simpson of MMA.
Oh, yeah.
As much as that narrative was out there, Justin Gaethje is a very talented and tactical fighter.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, man. It's crazy how it works because in reality, the odd line would probably be different. A lot of things would be different if he just would have went to a decision and not like, you know what I mean, ate the canvas. But it is what it is. You get Justin Gaethje, live odds, dog odds, plus 140 comeback for Gaethje, minus 170 is Fiziev. And AJ, a lot of people thought that Fiziev won the first fight. I bet on Fiziev. I thought he won the first fight too, but he didn't. He lost. And the reason being, I think, is because it's that experience of Justin Gaethje, man. It's inconsistent right now. Sometimes you get a clean version. Sometimes you get a wild version. But I think the experience of him and the top level fighters that he's had to, you know, go toe-to-toe against, I just think it has an intangible that's hard to describe. Now, Fiziev is younger. He's more athletic. He arguably should be a better striker. So it's just a matter of, like, does the short notice coming off of the knee injury, last time you fought was back in 2023, you got some things working against you too. This isn't the spry, hungry dude who's just been waiting for the opportunity. I think it's just like they say, when opportunity comes, you're almost never ready, but you got to take it anyways. How much advantage do either one of these fighters have? Do you think Gaethje has it because he's been training regularly?
Yeah, I do, and especially the mental advantage to know that you can go in there and go to war with a guy and get the points, get the win, get the dub for the Gaethje side. And what's interesting to me, Derek, the narrative that every fighter has going into a Justin Gaethje fight is after the fight, I'm going to instantly just leave and go to the hospital. Dan Hooker said it. Fiziev said it. He even said, he's like, that one part I don't like about fighting him is I know I'm going to end up in a hospital after. So going into that, yeah, I think that gives a mental advantage to Justin Gaethje right here. But for Fiziev, man, he has a lot of the intangibles. Yeah, he's not the young spry buck, but now he has become the grizzled vet that we're seeing fighting. Arguably more technical, arguably faster, and he has a couple different tools in his tool belt that he's able to pull to be able to keep Justin Gaethje on his toes.
Yeah, man. I mean, you got to just see, is he going to be able to step up to those pre-injury levels too, man? The athleticism that he has, the kind of fighter that he has, it's going to be interesting. What if we see a little bit more of a reserved approach from Fiziev? Who knows? Look at the 3 wins that he had prior to the 2-fight loss streak, right? You have Green. So Bobby Green, you have Brad Riddell, and you have RDA, which are like fantastic. And you finished RDA and you finished Brad Riddell, right? But I mean, come on, dog. This isn't Charles Oliveira, Michael Chandler, Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway. It's just kind of a different caliber. So I think that when they step into this, I don't really see this being a repeat of the first fight, but I'm interested to see where can we take advantage. Let's just talk about the result. The last time it went to a decision, and fair. 2 fantastic strikers, man. Had great chins, both got bloodied up. And before the facial damage to Rafael Fiziev, man, it was going to be a really, really razor close fight. Fight goes the distance odds, even right now. Bet 100, win 100. Are you taking it?
Ooh, fight to go the distance at even money. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it, Derek. I mean, I don't think it's going to be the same fight as the first fight, but I think there's a really high likelihood that we could see the same outcome, or at least a decision, depending on who wins, a victory for either one.
So given that you have these 2 fighters who are in unknown circumstances, this is what makes betting these fights a little bit harder to predict, is the environment around it, right? Given that we have this much uncertainty, what do you feel better as? Do you feel better as picking a side and saying, hey, I'm going to take the favorite, I'm going to take Fiziev, the young, spry guy? Or do you feel like this is more appropriate for rounds in this specific matchup?
In this specific matchup, Derek, I think it's more appropriate for rounds. In fact, while writing out my notes, like I had my pick already going, but while typing them out, I wrote Justin Gaethje's name and just automatically thinking, yeah, he's going to win this fight. But there's a lot that goes into this one. There's a lot of nuances, so I'm a little bit back and forth on who I think's actually going to be winning, and I think it depends on who's going to be that dog that night. So I feel a lot more comfortable betting rounds right here.
Yeah, big power on Gaethje, more volume you're going to see on Fiziev, generally speaking. Again, the big question that comes into mind for me is the injury side, the injury recovery from Rafael Fiziev, and then what version of Gaethje do we see? Because he mentioned, hey, I kind of settled into this more technical version of myself, and that wasn't the answer. So I'm like, yo, are we going to see the wild Gaethje who's going to be set up to get head kick countered off of something? Like, I don't have those answers. But one thing that I do know is that I like Gaethje at dog odds. I just think that this is another narrative play right here. I think Fiziev, don't get me wrong, Fiziev should be a favorite. I think in like a matchup like this, just based off of like looking at their age and their metrics and stuff. But I think it should be like a minus 125, you know what I mean? Like plus 105 type, like something like tight like that. So for the sake of what I'm doing, folks, I am rolling with the Justin Gaethje. That is my official pick. I don't think it's early. I don't think it's early enough to write him off as the competitor, a top 5 level competitor. But I don't feel confident really betting either of these fighters. So I'm going to go rounds, and I'm going to go over 2.5 to leave room for a finish at minus 125. I actually think that's a very fair price, and I think that if you put the house on it, you put a solid amount, I think you're going to be joyfully surprised. What do you make of it, AJ?
Yeah, Derek. I mean, I see the same points you're talking about. That's the same, almost same reasons I'm betting over on Fiziev, right? Yeah. I think he's on paper, he has the tangibles that you're looking at to look for somebody who's going to be pushing forward. The first fight, razor close until the very last round. So if he's able to keep to the game plan and not just end up getting overwhelmed by Justin Gaethje, I think he has a very good shot of winning this fight. I also not too confident betting strictly a person, so I'm with you. I might even look at that fight goes to decision prop right there.
Yeah, man. I mean, even money if you want to take it, right? But then again, finishes could happen in this sport at any given moment, and that's going to be my hedge right there. Just that 2.5. What do we call it? 2.5 minutes, right? That's all the little extra space that we got to give them. So I'm going to roll with Justin Gaethje on a dog play, dog or pass, in my opinion, AJ. But you're rolling with the opposite.
Yes, sir. Rafael Fiziev. We'll see if we can get it done to that decision.
Oh, you don't sound confident, brother. How you feeling?
I don't feel confident, Derek. I'm telling you, I've been back and forth all week thinking about who's going to be winning this fight. I can see both guys winning this fight. This one's a very hard one to pick. Again, why I'm not laying money down specifically on either fighter right here.
There we go, folks. Hedge your bets, play your rounds, and there's your pick for the co-main.